Welcome to this eLearn security video training lesson on Nmap Scripting Engine, also known as NSE. NSE is a feature that allows Nmap users to write or use shared scripts that help to automate various tasks. These scripts are written in Lua programming language, but we will not dive in on how to write or edit them, since it is out of the scope of this video. With NSE, several tasks become faster, automated, and sometimes more reliable. For instance, we can use them during the OS fingerprinting phase and obtain better results. Another phase where NSE may come in handy is the vulnerability scanning phase. Thanks to NSE, we can run scans in order to determine if a host is vulnerable to well-known attacks. NSE scripts come with the default Nmap installation, and they are stored in a folder on our machine. We can find them in the following path. If we browse this folder and list the files, we can see all the available scripts. Of course, if we want to, we can edit an existing script or create a new one. Let's now run Nmap and see how we can call the script engine. We can do this in two ways. We can either use the -S option, or we can use the --" script argument. The difference between the two is that the former executes a default set of scripts, while with the second option, we can specify the scripts to use. For the purpose of this video, we will focus on the --" script option. Also notice that since scripts are organized in categories, instead of running a single script, we can specify the category name in our command and run all the related scripts. Before seeing how to use and configure a script, let's see some commands that may come in handy in the future. As Nmap offers a big list of available scripts, we may need to look among them in order to find the most suitable for our purpose. In other words, we may want to find a script that matches certain specifications. For all these tasks, we can use the --" script -help argument. Although this command can be used to retrieve information about a specific script, we can use it to search among all the scripts. For instance, let's suppose that we've discovered an SMB service running on the target machine. We want to know something more about the service, but we do not know which scripts we can use. What we can do is, using the --" script -help, we can use it by providing different inputs such as file name, a script category, an expression, or a combination of them. In this case, since we're looking for any script related to SMB, we will use an expression and a category. Let's write the command and explain how it works. Here we are telling Nmap to search for any script starting with the word SMB in its file name, and then we use the operator AND to specify the category where to search. As we can see, we get a list of discovery scripts related to SMB and a description for each of them. Before using these scripts, it's highly recommended to update the current NSE list. We should always do this since the new scripts are constantly added while some others get updated. To automatically apply the updates, we just have to use the --" script -update DB option. As we can see, the script database has successfully been updated. Let's now move on and see how we can actually use some scripts. Since there are dozens of scripts, we'll only use some of them. Each example we use is related to a different penetration testing phase. Let us start with a script that we can use during the information gathering phase. The script will reveal the whois information of a server. Let's use the --" script -help argument to understand what it does. As we can see, by using a given address, it attempts to retrieve several pieces of information. Now that we know what it does, let's go back and execute it. First we specify the --" script argument, followed by the whois -domain string, and then the target IP address. Moreover, as we're not interested in port scanning, we also specify the -SN option. From the results, we can see all the information obtained with the whois lookup, the registrant name, description, location, and even an email. As we can see, we just used Nmap to look over public resources for whois information. We didn't need online resources or other tools. The script we will see now can be used during the reconnaissance phase. We will use it to discover the target's underlying OS. To execute it, let's run Nmap with the --" script parameter followed by SMB -OS discovery. Let's also specify the port 445, since this is the target port for this specific service. As we can see from the results, we get a very detailed output. The system is a Windows 7 Ultimate machine with Service Pack 1. Moreover, in addition to the operating system, we can also see the computer name, the workgroup, and more. Let's now execute the default Nmap OS discovery scan to see the differences. Here we can add the -O parameter, which will force Nmap to perform an OS fingerprint scan. Again, let's target port 445. From the results, we can clearly see the differences. Nmap is not 100% sure of the target operating system. Thus, we can conclude that in this case, NSE works more efficiently. Let's now move on to another example. Another script we can use to explain how useful NSE is the SMB enum shares. This script will attempt to enumerate all the shares available on a target. We first call Nmap with a script parameter. Afterwards, we specify the script's name, and finally, we append the target's IP. To save some time, we also specify the port 445, which is used by NetBIOS. As we can see, we have a list of the available shares, and we're allowed to see if there's any anonymous permission on them. As you can imagine, this could save us a lot of time against wider network environments, as several tools would have to be used to gather similar information. As mentioned previously, we can also run Nmap scripts massively by specifying the script category we would like to use. For instance, we can execute every script related to discovery against a single host. This will probably save us a lot of time, but might also alert the defensive mechanisms on the host machine or network. Penetration tests tend to be time-limited though. Thus, we will see some examples on how we can execute multiple scripts against a host. For the following tests, we will scan a host against all the authentication scripts, which will deal with authentication credentials on the target machine. The authentication-related scripts can be triggered by using the auth option. So we will use the --script auth command, followed by the target IP, in order to execute all the scripts in this category. As we can see from the results, we've discovered a machine vulnerable to some HTTP methods. Moreover, we can also see other useful information, such as the vulnerability description, how the vulnerability works, the name of the machine we're trying to reach, and more. Now let's move on to a different script category in order to see what other information we can receive from our target. The next category we can use for test is default. Scripts in the default category will reveal information mostly related to the target operating system, workgroup, and NetBIOS. To execute this scan, we just edit the previous command and change it to default. From the results, we can retrieve several pieces of information about the operating system and its shares. Once again, we can see the OS version and other details about it, some SMB information, the security authentication method supported, and more. As you can see, every category is suitable for specific cases. For example, if we need to focus on authentication attacks and other authentication-based information, we will use the auth category. As the categories are numerous and some of them require more advanced knowledge, we will not demonstrate them all. We suggest you test them on different systems in order to better understand how they work. As you can see, the ways you can use these scripts are many and vary on every phase of the penetration testing process. Moreover, do not forget to use the search command previously seen in order to find out the most suitable script for your scan. Thanks very much for joining us.